Hello friends, this is Scott, and it's August 2nd, and we're sitting in front of the main homestead garden. I just want to talk to you a little today. It's been a couple weeks since I've been on doing videos. I've been kind of busy. I got a couple secrets I got to tell you that I've been doing over the last little while. But you know, my whole plan 3.5 years ago when we bought this homestead was to permanently move down here and to retire down here. And a couple of things have happened. Okay, I had a birthday, so I'm within 6 months of being able to access some 401k money, so I'm getting closer to being able to make that dream a reality. I am spending most of my time down here, but because I'm spending most of my time down here, I'm not able to do much real estate. So I've been keeping a secret. You know, last January I decided I was going to get a job, and that's something I never wanted to do again. I thought I was done. I was hoping that my YouTube journey would take me to a place where it'd help me with a little bit of income, but that hasn't panned out. So I'm going to keep doing my videos, and this is you know, we'll see where it goes. But YouTube for me is more of a hobby than it is going to be any type of economic gain, I think. But anyway, that's okay. I enjoy doing it. You know, I've done 400 and something videos, and yeah, the algorithm isn't my friend apparently. So anyway, I appreciate everybody that watches these videos, but I'll keep going. But I'm not going to worry too much about that part of it. So you know, again, I have to solve my own problems, and to solve my problem, I took a job, and as many of you know, I've worked in law enforcement for 20 years, you know, but I've been retired for a long time, since 2011. My specialty was in sex offender supervision, as in the adult system. But so down here in this county I live in, there's several programs that are set up for juvenile with sex offender issues. And so back last January, I took a job working with juveniles. And I work at a little facility that's close to this town. It's not in this town, but it's about 10-mile drive, so it's not a big deal. But I work graveyards. You know, I wanted to free up my days, so I've been doing graveyard shifts, and it's been working into a full-time kind of job at this point. So I'm going to try to scale back a little bit, but I've got 6 months again until I'm at the age where I can actually, you know, access some more retirement money. So yeah, again, I had hoped YouTube was going to fill in some holes there, but it didn't. So I went and got a job. So anyway, I'm planning on hopefully retiring from real estate. Sorry, the cat knocked my camera off my tripod there, but yeah, so again, in 6 months, I'll be able to access some money, and hopefully we're going to be retiring from real estate probably about April of next year, I think. That's when my license is run out, and I'll just go inactive, and then we'll see how life goes, and I can always pick it back up if I need to. So, but I've been doing, you know, real estate for 13, 14 years also, so I've had a good run. I've had a lot of fun, met a lot of nice people, and helped them get, you know, sell and buy homes, and love it, but I don't love it as much as I want to retire. So anyway, again, I'm working 12-hour graveyard shifts, and they go from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And what I found out is when I try to do 3 of those a week, it just destroys about 6 days of my week, because that's just, you know, you got to sleep sometime. So my body's acclimated to staying up all night, which isn't much of a problem, but then I end up not having much productivity happening during the day. So that's part of the reason why I haven't had any videos out for the last couple of weeks. Everybody's on vacation. I've been working a little bit more than I would like. But again, I've got 6 more months, and I'm going to keep on swimming in that, and you know, work whatever I'm scheduled and just kind of go from there. These cats just keep it coming, and hope they don't knock my tripod over again. But anyway. Well, I'm going to show you today, just, you know, I haven't been doing, you know, again, filming much for videos, but I've got a nice little video, I think, that will show you where the garden's at, what the progress is, and what I've been eating on, because I am eating out of the garden now. And so we're going to dig in, and I'm going to show you kind of what's going on, and we've got a lot more that's going to be coming here in the very near future. But right now, things are growing well. I'm pretty pleased with the garden. I still have some disappointments with like carrots and beets, and yeah. And sweet peas were not good this year, so those were my biggest disappointments. But as you'll see here, I dug up a few potatoes just to see how things are going, and had some volunteer potatoes that are quite monstrous. So I'm, you know, that's looking up. So corn's coming on, starting to tassel, and I do have some tomatoes, some small tomatoes that have ripened up. I've been eating a couple of those, and yeah, various other things like zucchinis and crooknecks are going strong. I've got some baseball bats that I picked today. I'll show you. So anyway, again. I'm going to keep my journey going. I'm going to keep doing this channel regardless of whether YouTube likes me or not. You know, it's my diary, and I enjoy doing it. So thank you again to everybody that watches my videos. And yeah, we're just going to keep on plugging along and enjoying ourselves down here, and hopefully in retirement, you know, within the next maybe 6 months to a year. We'll see how that all goes. So anyway, let's take a look at the garden, and we'll see how it's going right now. Let's see. Well, we purchased the homestead 3 years ago. I didn't know I was going to be so fond of a bunch of cats that I inherited, and they become family. And this is Coquette. This is the most skittish cat that I have on the property. I mean, this cat generally just hides and lives in the rose bushes, but you know, it does my heart good to see this cat be able to sleep out in the open and roll around and feel very comfortable when I'm out in the yard. And again, all these cats are really making this place a home, and they're feeling comfortable with me. And so I'm glad I'm contributing to the lives of these cats, because they seem to be much happier now that I'm around. Now here's a look at the garden, and these are the green beans. These are bush green beans, and you see there's a little bit of a flower going there, but they're doing well. And we have my second planting of potatoes in the forefront there, and then my oldest variety in the back, or varieties, and they're going to do a little bit of harvest of that today. My sweet potatoes are okay, not great. You know, some of them died off, but we'll see if they produce anything before it frosts. I have a couple cucumbers I got from a local convenience store that were just about dead, and they're coming to life, so we should get some cucumbers here. I think those are our Armenian cucumbers, I think. The cucumbers I planted from seed did not do well. Now, we did pick up all the broccoli, the heads, but now we're getting the side shoots, so those have been tasty. And we look here, the onions are not doing great. I'll show you, one of the bigger onions I've got so far. But the cabbages are starting to head up, and they look pretty nice. I don't know how big they're going to get, but this isn't the most ideal soil over here. I'm still building garden beds, and again, with all the compost I'm making this year, I'm going to really improve the soil. That's where this will probably be the first place I put the compost, but we'll see. I don't know yet. The compost video, another one will be coming. That'll be probably one of the next videos. But my potatoes, my oldest plantings, one of them is really sickly, so I don't know what happened with that. So I'm going to, as you'll see, I'm going to dig that up and see what the deal is with that potato, and see how the other potatoes are doing. That's the second planting of corn. I'll show you the first planting here in a little bit, but I'll probably never get anything out of this because it'll probably freeze before this corn's ever ready to mature. But again, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it's just more feed for the cows. The asparagus that I planted this year is doing great. I need to, add more compost. There's Willow had to make an appearance. But lots of asparagus, so as long as it overwinters, it should be good. And there's Theo. And the only one we're not going to see in this video, I think, is Thang today. But there is my mess of all of the squashes and vining crop that I grew from seed. And some of it's a mystery because the label's kind of washed off. But I have some spaghetti squash and a pumpkin there. And as we look in here, I knew what these were. I knew I was going to have zucchini, green zucchini. I got a couple plants, and they're producing nice-sized zucchini. And I've got my crookneck. So I got to pick some of those today, and I've been giving a lot of those away to my family, and they come down. But yeah, that's getting to be the point of being too big. It's still good. It's starting to turn orange. When they turn orange, they're not good to eat anymore. So they'll become animal feed. But my mother likes to make zucchini bread, so I'm going to look through here and see what I can find if we have any more of the bigger zucchini. But she also wants some of these crookneck to try. She's not a big squash eater, but she's got some recipes she's seen recently, and she wants to give those a try. Going to go back here in the back, and there's a bigger zucchini plant. And they've got some nice ones here. So these will definitely grate up nice and make some good zucchini bread. So I take full-grown zucchini to my mother, and I come back with zucchini bread. So it's a good trade-off. And I think I got one or two more in here I got to find. But yeah, they're starting to get a little bit. That one's probably a little too old. I'll probably go with the animals. But there's another one. Nice, good size one. This one took a little strength to get it off the vine there, but one twist or two twists and we got it. So yeah, those will make some nice bread. And I think I have a banana squash in here. Yep, that's a banana squash. So again, my labels did wash off, so I'm not sure exactly what I planted, but that was all from seed. So everything in this bed is from seed. And there's a nice little haul. So we'll be taking those again to Salt Lake and coming back with some treats. So looking forward to that. Now we're transitioning to the south side of my yard, which is still a mess. And here's my tomatoes and my peppers. And as you see here, the tomatoes are not growing great. Seems like every time I'm out here, it's full sun, but I think they're getting some shade during the mornings. And so I think it's slowing them down. I did put a lot of compost in this bed, so I'm really surprised that they haven't taken off better. But There are some Juliet tomatoes that are ripening, so that's about the only taste of tomato I'm going to get for any time soon. I maybe have another year where I'm maybe right up against the frost to see if I get any really big mature tomatoes. We'll see. And if you ever plant tomatillos, you're always going to have them because they tend to show up in your yard as volunteers. And I did not plant that in that weedy mess, but there they go. The beets were a disappointment, but I did have a couple nice ones. So I'm sure there's a few more out there I got to dig up. But those and the carrots, I'm going to have some carrots this year, but I haven't dug any carrots up yet. Now, here's the first planting of corn that I planted, where I planted the tomatoes last year, and it's doing awesome. And I planted it in the experiment. I planted it, just dug through about 4 inches of bark mulch and planted it right on soil contact. And I did use a little fertilizer, but it's coming in good. And if you look really closely here, you're starting to see it's tasseling. So we'll get some sweet corn as long as the deer don't get in here and spoil my harvest. But so far, so good. The deer have not bothered my garden in any aspects. So I'll keep our fingers crossed on that. But yeah, looking forward to sweet corn. Now the potatoes I was telling you about, I needed to dig some up and do a little test dig and see. And this is a sickly one that was on the end there. I'm just going to dig a little bit here and see what I can find. And as I'm looking in here, I'm finding a couple potatoes on this dead plant. And it's a white variety. So again, I do not know what happened. But it did produce a couple. And the plant next to us is red potatoes. As you see, it doesn't look like they're anywhere near the size that I want them to be. So this was just again, a test dig, just to pull a few up. And there's the seed potato, and it looked okay. So I don't know what happened to that plant. So yeah, never know. Sometimes things just happen. But I do have volunteer potatoes in the garden, and I'm going to come down and check those out. Again, these were from last year, and we'll see if we have any good potatoes here. Get the shovel out, and I'm just going to dig this whole plant out and see what I can get. The bindweed in this area of the garden is just outrageous, and I don't want to spray, obviously, because it'll kill everything. So I come in here and I just tear it out. And the chickens like bindweed, so yeah, I just use the weed as a resource and give the chickens something to make their yolks a little darker. But so here's one plant. Again, this was volunteered from potatoes I missed from harvest last year. And again, they look just like kind of the ones that on my test dig on the other side. So I didn't think I was going to find anything of any size, but you just never know. But those are nice ones. But I'm more of a baked potato kind of guy, or mashed potatoes. I want bigger potatoes. So we'll see. I still got to do a little digging around in the dirt there and see what I could find. And look what I found. I got some monsters in here. So yeah, these volunteers are doing well, it looks like. And I didn't dig and disturb anything else other than that one plant. But there's some cleaned up ones, and yeah, they're good size. So yeah, I'm happy with the volunteers at least. So we'll see what happens toward the end of the year when I do a full harvest. There's an onion. That's about the biggest onion I had. Pulled that out just to check, and so I'm a little disappointed. I don't know if they're going to bulb up much or not this year. We'll see. But another look at the green beans, and this is a better look at, got some flowers going. So yeah, we'll be having green beans soon, and as long as you pick them, they keep on producing. So that's the thing about green beans. Now this plant here was labeled as a Swiss chard, but I've never seen a Swiss chard with that big of stems. So I don't know what to think of it. So yeah, it's not rhubarb, I don't believe, but who knows? Maybe it's a mislabel. But yeah, that's hasn't produced anything that I've tried yet, so I'm just going to give them to the chickens. And they ate them, so rhubarb leaves, if it is rhubarb, it's not a good thing. But didn't seem to bother the chickens any, if that's indeed the case. So I'm stay tuned on that. I'm going to have to figure out what that plan is. But the chickens are enjoying any greens that I put in there. They seem to be doing very well. Now, I did clean up the garlic harvest that I had previously done, let them dry, and got lots of nice garlic. So again, I got to save some of those for seed for next year. So that'll be the third year that the same store-bought garlic will be planted. And my sweet potato vines are going crazy. They did get some aphids in the house, but it's too late to plant them at this point because it's a longer season crop than I'll have time for. So I'm done with these, and so it's another thing that the chickens will enjoy. They like anything, a lot of weeds. Again, bindweed is what I usually feed them, and they seem pretty happy with that too. So there's an endless supply of that in this county, that's for sure. So. But they're enjoying it. They're laying eggs pretty regularly, so it's nice to have that. Well, as you see, the air is kind of orange. We've had lots of fires around Utah, and this little scene I'm filming here is all the animals were kind of bunched up against the corner of my pasture because the wind was kicking up, and we had some microburst winds. And as you see, that air is just yucky. All it is just big smoke from the Monroe fire. It's been making the news lately. So, yeah, and they decided they got spooked and they're out of here. So, yeah, the wind really did kick up, and we had some microburst winds, and it blew all my eggshells I had out on the patio in a bag I was going to throw in the compost, and tipped over my little bench there and my chairs, and yeah, it was a nice little microburst winds. And there's the sun, and that's been the skies lately in Utah is just orange because of the smoke, and the air quality is terrible. So that's what we get in the summer in Utah during fire season. It's especially out in the country, you get pretty smogged out. Well, thanks for watching this video, and I hope this got you caught up on me and what I'm doing in my garden, in my life at the moment. And I'll get back to more regular videos in the near future. Thanks for watching.